Hey guys, what's up? It's Alex here. Welcome to a brand new video. Today we're going to be talking about the proposed 2021 Formula 1 engine regulations. So over the last couple of years we've had this turbo sort of V6 era, which not too many people have been happy about. They're saying the engine isn't too good, it hasn't really helped the racing. But on one hand, you've got to think about it, it has pioneered new technology which will be helpful in sort of road cars in the future, and just transport in general. It might help in the future, all those sort of technologies they've started developing. But I see a lot of people on this side as well who aren't that happy with the racing and also just the noise. I mean, I'm not really a massive sort of critique of the noise in a way. I don't really care about the noise of the cars. I don't think it's particularly well, it's not a massive thing for me. Obviously it does matter, but not that much. That's sort of contradicting myself, but you know what I mean. It's not that important to me, but don't really care. Okay, let's move on. So what are the plans here for the 2021 power unit? So it looks like it's going to stay as a 1.6 litre V6 turbo, which is obviously similar to what we've had over the last couple of years, but they're going to increase the rev range of these cars, 3,000 extra RPM, which should improve the engine note of the cars, which will mean, a lot of people are happy about that, which is good. I mean, a lot of people that critique these engines do say that the engine noise is one of their biggest problems. So if they increase the rev limit, it improves the engine sound. I think win-win. They also say the MGU-H is going to be removed from the power unit to try and simplify it and also try to cut costs, which is obviously massive. The last couple of years they've been developing this, including the MGU-H, and if they were to remove it, it does sort of a backward step in a way, but also it means it's simplified, lower costs, meaning maybe possibly new teams could be getting involved. They also say in their notes that other areas will be restricted to try and cut the costs in Formula 1. So it definitely looks over the next couple of years they want to cut the cost of Formula 1. I think they realise that the costs of Formula 1 sort of skyrocketed over the last couple of years, meaning teams like obviously Caterham had to pull out, Manor had to pull out, teams like Sauber on like the brink of leaving because they just can't keep up with the money that's been pumped into Formula 1 by the other teams. So controlling costs is obviously a massive thing over the next couple of years. We had a sort of an era like 2009, was it 2009 to 2013, which was still expensive, but nowhere near as expensive as Formula 1 has been over the last 3 or 4 years. So that's very important for the FIA to bring down those costs and try and sort of get some other new teams in. I mean, teams like Sauber, for example, could get back to where they should be, which is in the midfield. So something that's quite interesting here, which I'm going to have to read off my notes, because otherwise I'm definitely going to mess it up. But they want to include internal and external perimeters to make the sort of Formula 1 a plug-in and play sort of thing. So the engine's sort of a block, the chassis is a block, the transmission's a block, meaning that, I guess from season to season, for example, if Toro Rosso wanted to switch from a Ferrari to a Renault power unit, it wasn't going to be too much of an issue. Nowadays, of course, that is an issue because it's really tough to sort of adapt the whole car around that. But what they've sort of said here is they want to sort of make it a set sort of design, I guess, in a way, meaning that you can just sort of take out one engine, put another one in, and it will work fine, that sort of thing. Of course, there's going to be little things here and there you're going to have to change, but that's a very odd one there. I don't see how realistically that's going to make too much of a difference. Of course, I guess if you're a team like Sauber who sort of relies on other teams' sort of financial input, like Mercedes or Ferrari trying to put in their like power unit, for example, and you have to run their driver for a season, I guess that sort of works for them as they're running really tight on a budget and they've just got to sort of switch in and out depending on where the money's coming from. That's the only sort of reason I can see that working, but I guess cutting costs, it sort of makes sense, but right now that seems like a big overhaul for not that much gain. So they also want to make the MGU-K a little bit more powerful, meaning it sort of works a little bit like KERS did. If you remember back to sort of 2009, 2010, 2011, I think one of those years probably didn't have it, but something like that. Those sort of era of Formula 1 cars had KERS, meaning you could push a button and get sort of an extra boost down the straight, a bit like DRS, but you could use it anywhere around the track as like a little button sort of thing. Like, you know, a bit of Nitros, for example, if you didn't watch Formula 1 back then. It's a bit of Nitros for a couple of seconds when you could probably get past someone or get up to the back of someone to overtake them sort of thing. And by introducing that to make the MGU-K more powerful, it means that it has the same sort of effect. Not exactly the same, but a similar sort of effect to that, meaning that you could turn up the engine and get that boost for a couple of seconds, turn it back down. It sort of works a bit like KERS. Of course, you'd have to manage that. If you ran it in a really high sort of mode for a lap after lap, your car is definitely going to break down, and we know that's happened a lot to a certain manufacturer this season already, so that maybe they won't be using any of the MGU-K's extra boost, but you know what I mean. It's a good thing for Formula 1 to get the extra overtaking as well. Of course, people will still say it is a fake way of overtaking, but it's the way it is. People are never going to be exactly happy. There's always going to be the traditionalist that wants to hear, have just Formula One. I want a car, a driver, nothing else. Don't want any DRS or any of that. I don't even want them to have an engine. I want them to walk around the track. That's going to make Formula One better. So last off, they want to introduce a standard NG store and controlled electronics, which means that, I guess, bring down cost once again. I think they have a set couple of parts on the car which are designed by, I think, is it McLaren? I can't remember what it is. I'm a noob, sorry. I can't remember exactly what part it is, which McLaren or Williams, one of them sort of manufacturers, and they all use it. And maybe if they have more like that, it brings the cost down. It means that not all teams have to fund development into that certain area. Once again, bringing costs down. So I think we can look at this whole sort of thing as an idea for Formula One to bring down costs and try their best to introduce new teams into the sport. Teams like Haas, teams like Sauber, who possibly could be struggling with financial problems at the moment. They'll probably just try and bring them back into Formula One and possibly get a few more teams onto the grid, which we've heard sort of rumblings on over the last couple of months about new teams that want to join. I suppose we always get it, but there's always going to be interest from some manufacturers, but then they see the cost and it's like, nah, mate, not a fan of that. So, yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you for watching this video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I know I'm not the most technology-savvy person in Formula One, so I just wanted to go through sort of the facts and the figures that they've sort of put out themselves, and I don't have a huge amount of input myself because I don't have that knowledge, and I don't want to push myself too far because I look like a massive noob. But, yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys around soon. Goodbye.